This is Boxing Tickets NI. It's a stormy Friday, but obviously the work continues on. We're delighted to be joined. I was just saying to Lee off camera the last time we spoke, you obviously were waiting to make your debut. I guess obviously it shows the ambition, the drive, and obviously the willingness to keep fighting. You're now going to have your third professional fight within 5 months. Now you're fighting in 5 weeks' time in Wigan. Um, I guess when we first spoke and we're obviously sort of saying, it's that adrenaline rush, you get your debut out of the way, then it's give me my next one, give me my next one. That's what's pretty much happening with you.
Yeah, more or less. Yeah, just trying to stay as busy and as active as possible. Like, I'm lucky that my gym, my team around me are able to let me do that. And yeah, I'm never out of the gym, as I've said before. Like, so I'm always ready to go. So find out about this fight card came up maybe like a week ago or so, and yeah, ready to go. I think 5 weeks tomorrow. Back out in Wigan, different venue from the first two, but yeah, hopefully same result.
Obviously, the venue you fought on previously, obviously, will always hold memories with you. Obviously, that's where you made your debut and you've had your second pro fight there. And there's no doubt you'll probably end up being there again in the future. But it's good for you, I guess, to be obviously get into a different environment because you become very stale. Sometimes if you're in the same venue, it's hard to build yourself up for fights and stuff like that. So a different venue will obviously give you probably different wee nerves and things like that. Obviously, the setup and everything else. It's like football. Sometimes you go in away matches and obviously different change rooms and stuff like that. There's a different feel about it. Obviously, you're going
Oh,
to probably get the big cards and stuff as well. So it's good to obviously very early on to mix yourself in these different environments. So when it comes to different outcomes, obviously throughout your boxing career, you're going to be used to that, and you're going, what's this going to be like? What's what's the facilities like? Is everything run down or is everything state of the art? So I guess for you, in some ways, for your third pro fight, somewhere different is going to mix it up a lot for you.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think it's good. As you said, like to mix it up. First two were in Bolton. Quite a lovely venue too. At the Reebok. And yeah, good memories there from a debut, from a second one. But to fight at a different, same promoter, obviously still VIP promotions, but just up the road a bit more in Wigan, different venue. And yeah, it's just it's like a whole new different circumstances, different venue, different layout and stuff. And as you said, that helps for going down the line if you don't want to stay in the same place constantly. And yeah, it just helps, getting used to the different things. As you said, like different changing rooms, little things like that, different setup, you know. But yeah, just getting used to it. Like,
You obviously, and anybody that's sort of watched the interviews or sort of following your career is sort of knowing you've always been involved in boxing. I guess you would have you'd probably been well prepared for what obviously happened in your last fight. Obviously, your opponent, is heavier and everything else like that. Like I think there was a good bit of weight difference. You would obviously have known of that in the past, as obviously you're writing and obviously following the sport religiously. Did you think it would always did you always know it was going to happen to yourself? You were going to have to give away a good few pound to an opponent in a fight. Were you prepared sort of that happened? You're going, here we go, and knew this was going to happen.
yeah, 100%. I sort of had a feeling because my debut went like so smoothly. I sort of thought it'll probably happen at some point this year, like with opponent changes and weights and stuff. But yeah, I'm used to it. As I said, like I know the crack with pro boxing at this level. It happens all the time. It could end up happening again for this one. Hopefully not. But my teammates at the gym have all had it as well. Like 2 days, 3 days before, same week. Mine was, I think I was on the Monday. I found out before the fight on the Saturday. I was fighting someone different, and ended up, I think he had like 10 pounds on me in the end. Like, and that was after me being told and having to like beef up a bit. Like, so that was like eating constantly throughout the week as well. So I actually struggled to even put the weight on last minute. But yeah, it just happens. Like, it's one of these things you just have to deal with, and it'll probably not be the last time it happens. Like, but as you said, I knew the crack with it, like from being on boxing for a while. Like, so I was well prepared for it anyway. Like,
I remember Kieran McVarnick, obviously, who's now retired. I don't think in his 12 professional fights he ever thought it was weight class he wanted to fight up. It's the problem
Yes.
you have sometimes with opponent maybe pulls out or you just can't get someone at the weight. But did you find it strange, obviously, the end fight week last time, where you're not having to sort of boil yourself down, to sort of you're having to put weight on, you were going, what's going on here? You're not a super lightweight fighter,
Yeah.
so for you to be sort of having to put the weight on, you were going, probably having the ring fill and stuff in the gym and go, how can I put pounds on here? My body's prepared to lose the weight. How can I put this weight on?
Yeah, it was a weird one, like, because on the Monday I'd been in that morning because obviously it was the start of fight week, and I had like my layers on and stuff. Trying to, I was on weight anyway, like, but I always like to like just keep it at a good level, and I got like a proper good sweat on, and then Tom rang me literally on the way home from the gym and said, the guy's out, you're fighting this guy now, and I can't remember what the weight exactly was, but it was like way heavier. I was like, fucking hell, I may go home and have two dinners here then. And yeah, so no, I had no need for the layers for the rest of the week, and I was just still eating clean. Like I say I struggled to put the weight on, but that's just because I eat clean anyway. Like, but I was just doubling up the portions and things like that. Like, but it was all right in the end. I think it was actually I was a bit worried when we got there that there might be too much of a weight difference. That can sometimes be an issue. Um, but I weighed in, and I actually got there late to the weigh-in because I wasn't in a rush for a change, and I think I was the last one to weigh in, and my opponent already weighed in, and I seen it, and he was like a lot heavier, and my girlfriend was there, and I said, Jesus, I should have had a bit more actually to eat or something, so I like knocked a lot of water and stuff as well just to make sure it was heavy enough that I was allowed to fight, and the two fellas with the clipboards and stuff, they were looking and they said it was all right, but just so luckily enough got the fight to go ahead with a sizable weight difference, but got the job done in the end anyway. Like,
I guess it helps to prepare for sort of later stages of obviously boxing, because as you'll obviously well know and you'll understand that sometimes people are boiled to the weight, but once they then rehydrate and stuff like that, they're massive. Like, we obviously well know what Carl Frampton is like. Obviously Carl Frampton as a boxer, he was obviously fighting at featherweight, and then he was at welterweight by the time it come to fight night. So at
yeah,
least these wee things will sort of help you as you sort of move on. Obviously at this standard, you can sort of get away with it. Obviously if it's a title fight or something like that, and someone's way overweight, it's like no chance of fight's not happening. Was that playing in your mind at any stage for your second fight, that because of this weight difference, the fight might not go ahead? Or I guess that's what your coaches sometimes are there for as well, to make sure that the weight difference isn't too much, that obviously it becomes a nightmare for you.
uh, it was all right. Like, I was in the gym the day before, sorting tickets and stuff out, and Tom, who did my corner, it was at like late at night too, so I'd already had a load of had 3 meals or whatever, and he got the scales out just to check, just to make sure like what it was, and I was at like a good weight, considering I only had a few days, like, and he just said, yeah, just keep eating, basically, cleanly, like, and yeah, it worked all right in the end, but yeah, as I say, like, going forward, it, the bigger fights and the title fights and all, these little experiences and little nuances, like little things, suppose they can help, a bit more experience for down the line as well.
And obviously, since we've last spoke, obviously, as I say, you've had your two professional fights and everything else like that. Is it everything you imagined it would be so far? Is there anything sort of different that you probably wouldn't have prepared for? I guess obviously your mindset changes as well. Obviously, that you can now call yourself a professional boxer and you're learning your trade and everything else like that. Has anything changed from anything? Is anything different from what you imagined it would be?
Um, Not necessarily. I think it's just actually living it now. I knew what to expect in terms of like, grafting away, trying to sell tickets and sponsors and training and stuff. I knew what they expect, but once you actually start, then as a pro, it just takes you to experience it for that first time. Like for my debut, it was all a bit surreal, like, but yeah, nothing really unexpected. I knew what to expect, having sort of been in around that, like towards the end as an amateur. I was in the mindset of a pro anyway, like, and I knew I was training as a pro basically anyway, but Yeah, nothing really unexpected. Like, I think the training's obviously up. Once you get into the professional ranks, the training's a lot tougher and all. But you know, I expected that, I knew that, and I love it. Like,
And obviously obviously you're very, very good at marketing yourself as well, which is, probably one of the biggest pluses you can have. Obviously with your job and stuff like that as well, you're always used to producing content. But how have you found the ticket selling? Obviously, I guess sometimes you don't want to. It's like anything when it comes to something for yourself, you don't like to beg. You don't want to. You're going. How many posts can I put out where it doesn't look like I'm struggling to sell tickets or anything like that? How have you found that sort of? Are you getting a lot of regulars now that once a fight's announced, please stick me down for 2 tickets? Or are you getting to the stage where someone says they want tickets and then they make up an excuse like their dog ate their shoe and they can't leave the house?
yeah, bit of both really. But yeah, I'm not too bad with it. I think it's like the obviously your debut's always a big one. Everyone does well with their debut for tickets. Friends, family, teammates, and stuff. Second one was a bit more of a push. I think as well. It depends on dates as well, doesn't it? Like what time of year it is and stuff. Yeah, September, everyone was like sort of back to school and things like that, and things like that can have an impact. But the second one was a bit, not, I wouldn't say a struggle, but a bit more of a push compared to the debut. This time I've had sort of less notice as well, in terms of when to start promoting and stuff. But yeah, things are going all right at the minute as well. We'll be fine for tickets and that. But I think the odd thing for me as well is because I'm based over here in England. Like, there's it's I'm relying, sorry, on like people around that I know that I've sort of built relationships with in the area, and I do get a lot of support, like, and it's really appreciated. Like, I know I've spoke to like people, Gaelic teams and Irish centres and stuff around as well. That they've had me in, like, at the Irish Centre in Bolton and stuff, and used to play for a Gaelic team in Leeds. There's one in Manchester and stuff as well. So some of the lads there always help, and then people back home sponsoring tickets and things like that. That was a big help. So yeah, I get by, like, but obviously whenever I eventually fight at home, it'll be a lot easier to to shift the tickets and that, and that's probably not that far away. Hopefully, I'd say probably early next year. Hopefully get out in maybe Belfast or something, and step up the rounds. And once you start selling even more tickets, you can start stepping up the rounds as well, can't you? So yeah, it's all good. But once I get a fight back home, it'll be even easier. Like,
Is that the thing that will really get you nervous? Obviously, you see people when they make their debut away from home, and probably with Conor Kerr last week. Obviously, I fought in the Gerwood Community Hub, but he had his first fight in Wales, and obviously people going mad and cheering and stuff for your name. It sort of seems a wee bit more real. Is that what, obviously, you sort of, as they say, the boxing term, itchy knuckles? You get itchy knuckles of going, I want to fight at home. I know Elite's obviously done a good bit of work with Mark Dunlop, so maybe the feelers are already out there for Mark Dunlop in his first show of 2024. Let's get the Irish debut for Lee Gormley. Is that hopefully the plan for you?
yeah, hopefully. I spoke to Mark online after the last show that Liam was on, his rematch with Murphy. Can't remember exactly when it was, but I messaged him. I messaged him actually straight after my second fight, just to inquire when it would be, because I thought it might have been uh, later on in this year. It turned out it was the one. I think it was last week, wasn't it? October 14th in Belfast. And initially I was sort of planning to get on that a while back, but it was literally the only date that I couldn't do for the rest of this year, because I happened to be at a wedding. I was best man for my friend Robbie last week in Scotland, so that just didn't work out right. But yeah, hopefully, I'm not sure when his next one is, but I'd say it'll probably be early next year. And yeah, that would be ideal. Even stepping up like the 6 rounds in Belfast, and get a big Lurgan crowd up to Belfast, like that would be ideal.
There'll be some bottles of Buckfast sold that weekend.
Other well, yeah, record sales, I would say.
Um, Obviously, your teammate, obviously in Liam Gaynor obviously has a big fight coming up the same night, unfortunately, as yourself. It seems to be now these last two fights that it's sort of been prepared in the same way. Does it sort of show the nature, obviously, Liam is that obviously, he's obviously now getting a big opportunities on a big platform. Does that feel real for you now that when gym mates like Liam are obviously getting an opportunity in Katie Taylor's card, you're probably going, you're the jammiest guy I know. You would obviously dream for to fighting a Katie Taylor undercard, but Liam's obviously going to fight John Cooney for the Celtic super featherweight title. You'll unfortunately not get to be there either, which is a bit of a bummer for you, but obviously a massive opportunity for Liam on the same night as yourself.
Yeah, yeah, I wouldn't call him jammy at all. Like, he's worked his way up. Liam, he's a great lad and a very good fighter. Like, so he deserves these opportunities, and he's got the balls to take them too, which not a lot of fighters do. Especially like, if you come off a loss or whatever. A lot of guys will maybe step back in levels and say, let me get a few more tune-ups and then make a step up. But Liam's a proper fighter, like, and he took the opportunity straight after he was in that tournament, the Box Cup one, and then he jumped straight into this, and it's an opportunity you can't turn down, really. Like, you're fighting on a Katie Taylor comeback yard, like, you never, like, it could end up being the last one, ever for her in Dublin, especially, like. So yeah, Liam jumped at that chance, and rightly so, and he's been looking very, very good in training camp for this one. Like, best I've seen him, even from the Murphy fights, even, like, yeah, getting so many good rounds in with very hard hitting southpaws, like. So yeah, and in terms of like fight on the same night, it happened last time, didn't it? For my second fight, and he was out in somewhere else in Manchester. But as I said before, like, we've got such a good team, coaches around us. Like, we've got so many coaches can go with him, some can come with me, like, and there's never any issue. Like, it just shows you how good in depth the gym is too. Like, just keeping all the fighters busy and having so many coaches to cover us too. Like,
And obviously, speaking of yourself and sparring, well, am I right in thinking you were sparring Gary Cully last week as well?
yeah, sparred Gary last week, sparring him again next week as well. They were class rounds. Like, I only did a few of them because he was mixing it in with some others. But yeah, it's probably one of the best I've been in the ring with. I've followed him for a long time, Gary. Like, I remember even watching him in his Irish lightweight title fight a long time ago, or not a while, like a few years back. Again, it was Fitzpatrick he
Joe
fought.
Fitzpatrick, yeah, it lasted about a minute.
Yeah, yeah, and it was supposed to be like a big 50-50 domestic Irish fight, and he blew him away in a round, like, and he's shown his levels even back then, and he had a bit of a setback last time out, like, but I think he'll bounce back this time around. Like, he's got a good fight too, Reese Mold, I think it is, and another big stage, like, for him. But yeah, the rounds were brilliant for me. Like, one of the best I've been in the ring with. He's so good technically and hits hard for the weight, and he's fucking massive too for a light. Like, he's so rangy. Like, it's very difficult to even catch at all. Like, but and southpaw as well. So yeah, he's a brilliant fighter. Like,
Does this obviously, the rounds you're getting now, obviously, and the people, there's a long list of obviously people you sparred now. Is that helping to mature you more into professional boxing? Now, obviously, you've always had a pro style and preparing and stuff like that, but now you're getting these rounds between fights. Is that helping to bring you on even further, quicker?
yeah, 100%. Even in the last week and a half or so, or just while I've been pushing for this fight, I've sparred some rounds with Gary, which was brilliant. I sparred Isaac Lowe on Monday, did 6 rounds with him. A very experienced pro. He's got a big fight coming up in December as well. And I did 6 rounds today as well with one of my teammates, Aaron Hayden, he's class too. Like, he's a very, very good fighter. So yeah, just all these rounds is the build up, and you just learn from every session, like, and yeah, you can't help but grow and get better and improve with it, like, and
And is
yeah.
that your plan sort of next up? What you'll do is because obviously I'm hearing you're fighting 6 rounds and obviously moving up to six. So obviously you fight in Belfast at the start of next year. So in 5 weeks' time will it be another 4 rounder just to sort of adjust and they keep growing, and then will that be your last 4 rounder then pretty much, coming into 2024 you maybe step up to six?
Yeah, that's the plan. Like, things change obviously with like opponents and stuff, as I mentioned before. But 4 rounds this time again, from a third one, and then hopefully be able to push on next year into like the sixes and stuff, and then keep going from there. But yeah, that's the plan. Like, just taking it steadily. You never know; I could get out again before Christmas even. But that would, if I do, that would be another probably 4 rounder. And then next year, I'd say I'll be stepping up the six as well.
And how are you finding? Obviously, have you been watching your fights back? Sometimes people will try and not watch their fights, or particularly when you've commentary and stuff in fights as well. People try and avoid it because you don't want to listen to anybody else or your coaches. Have you watched your fights back? Have you watched wee clips of them? Obviously, you've had your clips and stuff to put up of your fights, but have you watched all the fights back to try and learn wee bits from them, or is it just sort of just to see how you've looked?
Yeah, I've watched them back. I always do. Even when I was an amateur, I used to watch them back. It's something that our gym always does. All our coaches, not make us out, but they tell us to watch our fights back and see what we did that we could improve on, and what we did well, and things like that. So, I've studied both a bit, and taken things away from it that I can improve on. And there's plenty of things. In my first 2 fights, so little things, even though like bringing your hands back, and certain little movements you have to do, or certain shots, or little things. But I think it's important to watch them back. Like, in this day and age, like when we've got I'm lucky to have first 2 fights were recorded. Now some people don't even get great quality footage of their fights, like. But yeah, watch them back, and plenty to improve on. And yeah, hope improve on that on November 25th.
And what's the plan? Obviously, like I guess when you're seeing a few fights go, you obviously haven't got a stoppage, and there's nothing wrong with not getting a stoppage in fights. Obviously, you've been fighting really good opponents so far. Do you worry about obviously getting stoppages? Whereas anything you worried about in the amateurs? Do you sort of keep going? When am I going to get my first stoppage? When? Does that put any pressure on you, or does it just relax? Sometimes you say the more relaxed and you enjoy your boxing more, the stoppages will come. Do you focus on anything to do with any stoppages, or just let it go with the flow?
I just go with the flow, really. You know, you're told like you never go in looking for stoppage, because that pushed it further away. That's when you don't get them. Like, so it's just about relaxing. Like, and it'll come. Like, and I've got good power, and I'm precise. Got good shot selection, and I think the first 2 fights as well. I think the first one against Spencer, he was a lot on the back foot. He was quite tricky to actually hit clean. Like, caught him a few times, and he's a lot smaller too, so I couldn't rip the body shots in as usually like to. But that was my debut as well. It was good to get the 4 rounds under the belt rather than just blowing some away anyway. And then the second one against Osgood, obviously he was big guy, and I was hitting him with some body shots, and I was like, "Geez, is this guy not gonna stop coming?" Like, because yeah, it was like hitting a heavy bag sometimes. I was hitting him with some liver shots, and he was like grunting on the inside. I knew he was hurt, but the bigger lads obviously can take the shots a bit better. Like, I'm a super featherweight, and he weighed in like light middleweight or something, like, so obviously it was a bit had he could endure them a bit more, like. But I never go looking for stoppages or anything. I know they'll come. I think they'll probably come a lot more when I step up in the rounds, and when I'm able to start breaking people down more to the body, and later on in fights. If you look at like my teammate Marcus Tomlinson, he got his first knockout there in his last fight. It was that was his first step up to 6 rounds as well. So he's the same. It's not about just going in and sparking someone out. Like, it's about in pros, breaking someone down, especially to the body, and setting traps. And I think you'll see that once it starts stepping up a bit in rounds, especially.
I think it's obviously it'll depend on the opponent as well. Obviously, you get someone who's coming forward and they want to fight. That's where they're always
Yeah,
going to leave you openings where obviously you can time your shots, and I know you like to work the body obviously as well. Obviously, it's a good trait to have because you can prepare to get punched in the face all day, but sometimes a lovely wee time body shot will do the damage that people haven't been prepared for.
exactly.
Um, but obviously, I want to thank you for obviously jumping on having a chat with us once again. Obviously, um, 5 weeks time, obviously you're back out for your third pro fight in 5 months. That'll hopefully be the end of the year for you, and you can enjoy Christmas with your missus and obviously your child. But thanks very much for your time as always, and I'm sure we'll catch up with you for a chat very soon.
Yeah, will do. Thanks very much for having me on again. Speak soon.
All right, cheers, Lee. Take care. Thanks.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.